more news stories for you. Ethiopian government is accusing humanitarian agencies of smuggling weapons into Tigray. Secondly, in another important development, the US has pushed Russia out of Sudan. Russia wanted to build a naval base in Sudan, but it seems that the US has pushed Russia out of Sudan. Thirdly, Somalia has ordered the formation of a fact-finding commission to inquire into claims that Somali soldiers fought in Tigray. Lastly, OLA has issued a statement about Eritrean forces killing civilians in Oromia. Let's look at the first news story. While international community is calling for unfettered humanitarian access into Tigray, as famine has started in Tigray, Ethiopian government says that it cannot allow blanket access into Tigray because some aid organizations are involved in smuggling weapons into Tigray. Demeke Mekonnen, Deputy Prime Minister of Ethiopia, in a video statement claimed that some humanitarian actors are involved in supplying weapons under the guise of humanitarian aid in Tigray. Interesting statement, viewers, but Demeke Mekonnen did not name any NGO, any agency which is involved in smuggling weapons into Tigray, viewers. Since the start of this war, we haven't heard from Ethiopian government that any NGO, any agency is involved in supplying weapons to TPLF. We did hear a report in which Ethiopian government claimed that one NGO was involved in helping Tigray leaders get out of Tigray. But this is the first time now that Ethiopian government is accusing aid agencies of smuggling weapons into Tigray, but Ethiopian government has not provided any evidence. Have a look at Demeke Mekonnen's statement about aid agencies smuggling weapons into Tigray.
In this connection, we wish to point out here that we have credible evidence indicating that some actors have attempted to smuggle weapons to arm the terrorist cell under the guise of humanitarian assistance. This is unacceptable. There is no doubt about the enormity of the challenge in the Tigray region. It is through working with the government to accelerate the humanitarian response, to reach out to every person in need that will address the problem. The Ethiopian government is well aware of its responsibilities towards its own citizens and its obligations under the international humanitarian law. The Ethiopian government is using every ounce of its strength to mobilize all the necessary resources from within the country to reach out those in need, but its resources are limited. This is where the support and solidarity of the international community becomes all the more.
Second news story is from Sudan. Viewers, the US has pushed Russia out of Sudan. In November, Russia signed an agreement with Sudan for establishing a naval base in Sudan. Russia wanted a naval base in Sudanese waters on Red Sea, viewers, and some Russian warships arrived in Sudan a few weeks ago. But Americans then activated and they removed Sudan from their list of states sponsoring terrorism. They helped Sudan as well. Just a few days ago, they sent 48,000 metric tons of wheat to Sudan. Sudan is faced with worsening economic conditions. Now, Sudan has confirmed that Russian warships have packed up and left Sudan. Al Jazeera has also confirmed that Russian warship has left Sudanese Port Sudan. Russian warship BM-130 arrived 3 days ago, and it arrived with a purpose of repatriating remaining Russian equipment from Sudan. Now, there is no Russian military equipment in Sudan because it has been confirmed by Sudanese officials that Russia has removed all its military equipment from Sudanese waters. So US has pushed Russia out of Sudan, viewers. And we know, viewers, that there was a cold war between Russia and Sudan since the announcement of a naval base by Russia in Sudan, viewers. Sudan is now saying that Russia can establish a naval base after the agreement signed in November is approved by Legislative Council of Sudan, which is not very likely. It seems that Sudanese military, which has been in touch with their counterparts in the US and with some Arab countries, it has agreed to US narrative, and Russia has been pushed out of Sudan. Third news story is from Somalia, viewers. Somali Prime Minister Hussein Roble has ordered the formation of a fact-finding commission to inquire into the claims of Somali soldiers sent from Eritrea to fight in Tigray. Defense Minister of Somalia, Army Chief of Somalia, Interior Minister of Somalia, and Somali envoy to Ethiopia are part of this commission. It was needed, viewers. We saw protests in Mogadishu. Somali families protested. Then Somali government claimed that the protests were orchestrated by opposition parties. So now a good move by Prime Minister of Somalia that a fact-finding commission has been formed, viewers. Last news story is from Oromia, viewers. Oromo Liberation Army (OLA) has issued a statement. OLA says that heavy fighting occurred in North Shoa between Eritrean forces and Oromo Liberation Army. In that battle, Eritrean forces suffered some losses, and after that, according to OLA, Eritrean forces launched attacks on civilians, and 6 civilians have been killed in these attacks in Gindar Barat district. Viewers. Names of the killed civilians have also been provided by OLA. There is now evidence building about the presence of Eritrean forces in Oromia, viewers. Thank you for watching.